It was a calm night on March 8, 2014. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people, took off from Kuala Lumpur bound for Beijing. Everything seemed normal. The pilots checked in with air traffic control. The plane climbed smoothly to cruising altitude. But then, something strange happened. At 1:19 a.m., the pilot's final words were, "Good night, Malaysian 370. Minutes later, the plane vanished from radar. No distress signal, no emergency call. Just gone. Air traffic controllers tried desperately to make contact. Other pilots flying nearby called out on the radio. Silence. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 had disappeared into the night. But the biggest mystery was yet to come. Hours later, military radar picked up something shocking. The plane had turned back. But why? And who was in control? This was just the beginning of the world's most baffling aviation mystery. And the truth is still out there. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. A Boeing 777 is one of the safest and most technologically advanced aircraft in the world. It's massive, nearly the size of a football field, and equipped with multiple tracking systems. Yet, Flight MH370 vanished without a trace. No distress call, no emergency beacon, nothing. How is that even possible? For the first hour, everything seemed normal. But then, MH370 transponder was manually switched off. This meant the plane was no longer visible to civilian radar. Shortly after, the aircraft communications addressing and reporting system also stopped sending signals. Suddenly, MH370 was invisible to the world. At first, investigators thought it was a mechanical failure. But here's the shocking part. Military radar detected the plane making a sharp turn, heading in the opposite direction. Someone or something was controlling it. Was this a hijacking? A pilot's secret plan? Or something even more mysterious? The nightmare had just begun. Just minutes after MH370 disappeared from civilian radar, military radar picked up something shocking. The plane had made a sudden turn westward, completely off its planned route to Beijing. But here's what made it even stranger. The turn was smooth and controlled, not erratic like a plane in distress. This wasn't just a small deviation. MH370 flew hundreds of miles in the wrong direction, crossing back over Malaysia and into the Andaman Sea. Experts believe this maneuver required precise navigation skills, suggesting someone in the cockpit was still in control. But why? Was it a pilot's deliberate act? A hijacking? Or an emergency situation forcing them to turn back? If it was a mechanical issue, why didn't the pilot send a distress signal? As the world scrambled for answers, one thing was clear. This wasn't an ordinary disappearance. Something or someone was steering MH370 into the unknown. After making its mysterious turn westward, MH370 continued flying for several more hours. But something was deeply unsettling. There was no communication from the pilots or passengers. The plane was completely silent, yet still moving. Investigators believe that at some point, everyone on board may have lost consciousness due to a lack of oxygen. This is known as hypoxia, a condition that can occur if the cabin loses pressure. If this happened, the pilots and passengers would have slowly passed out within minutes, leaving the aircraft on autopilot. Despite being invisible to radar, MH370 continued sending satellite pings to Inmarsat, a British telecommunications company. These signals helped experts determine that the plane kept flying south over the Indian Ocean. After hours of silent drifting, it eventually ran out of fuel, crashing somewhere in the deep sea. But the exact crash site remains a mystery to this day. Since MH370 disappearance, experts have debated countless theories, some backed by evidence, others pure speculation. One of the most discussed is the pilot suicide theory, which suggests that Captain Zahari Shah deliberately crashed the plane. Investigators found a flight simulation on his home computer with a similar route into the Indian Ocean. However, there is no concrete proof he planned this in real life. Another theory is hijacking. Could someone have taken control of the aircraft and forced it off course? Some believe the passengers and crew were incapacitated, while an unknown party directed the plane. Others suspect a mechanical failure, like a fire or electrical issue, which disabled communication but left the aircraft flying until it ran out of fuel. Then there are the conspiracy theories. Some claim military forces shot it down, or even that MH370 was secretly landed somewhere. But a decade later, no theory fully explains every mystery of that night. The disappearance of MH370 triggered one of the most extensive and costly search operations in history, spanning multiple countries and costing over $200 million. In the first few days, rescuers focused on the South China Sea, following the plane's original route. But when investigators discovered the military radar data and satellite pings, they realized MH370 had flown far off course, toward the vast and treacherous Indian Ocean. For years, advanced sonar equipment and deep-sea submersibles scoured 120,000 square kilometers of ocean floor, but no wreckage was found. Then, in 2015, the first real breakthrough came. A piece of the plane's wing, called a flaperon, washed up on Réunion Island, thousands of miles away. More debris followed, found along African shores, but the main wreckage and black boxes remain lost, leaving the world with more questions than answers. The search continues to this day. As years passed with no clear answers, wild theories about MH370 disappearance began to emerge. One of the most controversial is the Diego Garcia theory. Some believe the plane was secretly diverted to a U.S. military base in the Indian Ocean. However, officials deny any involvement, and no evidence supports this claim. Another chilling idea is cyber hijacking. Some suggest MH370's controls were remotely hacked and taken over by an unknown force. With modern aircraft increasingly dependent on computers, could this be possible? Some theorists claim the plane never crashed at all, but was hidden or repurposed for a secret mission. Others believe in a mid-air collision or missile strike, suggesting a cover-up by powerful governments. Despite these outlandish ideas, none have been proven. Yet, the fact that MH370 vanished so completely fuels speculation that the full truth has yet to be revealed. For the families of the 239 passengers on board MH370, the disappearance was more than just a mystery. It was a nightmare that never ended. In the days after the plane vanished, they clung to hope, waiting for news, expecting their loved ones to be found. But as time passed, frustration and grief turned into anger and desperation. Malaysia Airlines initially gave confusing and conflicting information, making the situation even worse. Relatives gathered in hotel conference rooms, glued to every press conference, only to receive vague updates. Some even called their missing loved ones' phones, and for days, the calls still rang but no one answered. Many families believe there was a cover-up, that governments know more than they admit. To this day, they continue to demand answers, justice, and a real investigation. But without the plane's wreckage, closure remains just out of reach. Even after a decade, the search for MH370 isn't over. With advancements in technology, experts believe we may finally uncover the truth. Deep-sea scanning drones, AI-powered satellite analysis, and improved sonar mapping could help locate the wreckage. In 2024, a private company, Ocean Infinity, announced a new mission to resume the search, using cutting-edge autonomous underwater vehicles to scan previously unexplored areas of the Indian Ocean. Experts also suggest using gravitational anomaly detection, a method that can pinpoint changes in the ocean floor where the aircraft may have crashed. Beyond the search, aviation authorities are now pushing for real-time flight tracking, so a disappearance like MH370 can never happen again. The world still wants answers, and with these new technologies, the final chapter of MH370's mystery may soon be written. The truth might finally be within reach. The disappearance of MH370 wasn't just a tragedy, it was a wake-up call for the aviation industry. Before this incident, real-time tracking of commercial flights wasn't mandatory. Planes could still vanish in remote areas, leaving investigators searching blindly. But after MH370, that changed. Airlines worldwide have now adopted advanced satellite tracking, ensuring that planes remain visible even over vast oceans. Black box technology is also evolving. Newer aircraft are being equipped with floating black boxes that detach on impact, making recovery easier. Passenger safety protocols have also been reassessed, with renewed focus on cockpit security and pilot mental health screenings. Yet, despite these improvements, one unsettling fact remains even in today's high-tech world. A modern aircraft can still disappear. The mystery of MH370 reminds us that no matter how advanced aviation becomes, the sky still holds secrets, and some remain unsolved.